The member for Canning.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Home Affairs. Will the Minister tell the House how the Morrison government is guaranteeing Australia's national security capabilities and keeping the Australian people safe? And is the Minister aware of any alternative approaches?
The Minister for Home Affairs.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. I want to say thank you to the honourable member, not just for his service to our country, but for his chairmanship of the Parliamentary Joint Committee on Intelligence and Security. He does a fantastic job in that committee and provides an opportunity for us, particularly the agencies in my portfolio, ASIO and others, to work very closely with the committee, and for that I'm very grateful. Mr Speaker, one of the dividends of managing the budget well and making sure that we've taken decisions in recent years to put our country in a strong position financially is so that we can deliver strong essential services. That's a big dividend out of this budget. We've been able to respond to the health pandemic. We've been able to provide support to our hospitals and to many other aspects of the response to COVID-19. But importantly, Mr Speaker, this budget is all about providing the essential services that Australians require, and in particular, one of the highest priorities of this government is to make sure that we can keep Australians safe. The threat of terrorism hasn't gone away. We know the scourge of people smugglers hasn't diminished. We know, Mr Speaker, that we have to make sure that our armed services are provided with all the support that is possible. So last night, Mr Speaker, we provided additional funding, about $1.7 billion to implement the cyber security strategy, which will help keep Australians safe online. And in particular, Mr Speaker, mums and dads who are worried about their kids online, older Australians who might be worried about identity theft, they are the people that we are providing support to. Mr Speaker, I'm also very proud that in the budget last night we were able to provide certainty to the Australian Federal Police and increase their funding. It means that they can provide more frontline services, not just in the cyberspace but in many other areas, including child protection, where they do amazing work each day. Mr Speaker, one of the dividends of managing the economy well, and that has been the focus of the government over a long period of time, as I point out, is to make sure that we can invest into the Australian Defence Force. All of us are incredibly proud of the work that the men and women of the Australian Defence Force have done domestically in the recent natural disasters and the response to the pandemic, but they are working around the world today to keep Australians safe and to serve our interests abroad. And that's why, Mr Speaker, we are investing more than $270 billion in Australia's defence capability over the next decade. It is the biggest investment in defence in decades, and it brings this government's investment in defence up to 2% of GDP. And if we look at Labor's atrocious approach, they dropped defence budgets down to levels that hadn't been seen since before the Second World War. Mr Speaker, we have invested in the essential services and will continue to keep Australians safe.
The Deputy Prime Minister will cease interjecting. The member for Moreton will leave under 94A.
You were striking on the point.
The member for Lyons can leave under 94A as well. This happens after you've been asked to stop interjecting repeated times, so it's sort of not worth explaining any further.